Hi, welcome to yet another webisode of Shehzad Scans, the one and only show that helps sift facts from fiction and helps you bust the haywire narrative of fake news. Today's fact test is on a very important issue that will probably determine the outcome of 2019 elections. Today's fact test is on jobs. Now before we start today's fact check, let's hear what Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the largest opposition party in this country, had to say on the job situation within India. Here is a claim that he made recently at the Bucerius Summer School in Germany. Take a listen.
China produces 50,000 new jobs every 24 hours. In the same amount of time, in the same 24 hours, India, a country that is approximately the same size as China, produces only 450.
Rahul Gandhi claims that every day China produces 50,000 new jobs, whereas India produces a mere 450 jobs per day. Now, is that really true? Let's do the first fact check on how many jobs is actually China creating per day. Now, this is a claim that Rahul Gandhi's made not just in Germany, but in multiple rallies across India, especially during the Karnataka elections, where he said that China creates 50,000 jobs per day and India creates a mere 450 jobs per day. But does China actually produce 50,000 jobs? Let us do our first fact test on this particular aspect that Rahul Gandhi has been claiming over and over again. Well, as per the official Chinese news agency, Xinhua, China created, as per their official statistics, about 65 million jobs in a period of 5 years between 2012 to 2017. That's roughly about 1.3 crore jobs per year, or about 10,83,333 jobs per month. So if you break it down to the number of jobs created per day, if 10,83,000 jobs are created per month, that amounts to 36,111 jobs per day. Now that's a far cry away from Rahul Gandhi's claim of 50,000 jobs being created in China per day. What I can't understand is why an Indian leader would want to paint a picture of China which is far more rosier than the official Chinese government version. Even the Chinese government, as per their own records, doesn't claim that it creates 50,000 jobs per day. But for some reason, Rahul Gandhi wants us to believe that a country that is creating 36,000 jobs per day is actually creating 50,000 jobs per day. I wonder why he made that claim in the first place. But more importantly, let us go on to the second aspect of his claim, which is, does India create only 450 jobs per day? Now let's do a second fact check on this particular aspect and whether India really does create 450 jobs or is it actually more than that. Now the second aspect of Rahul Gandhi's statement was that India creates a mere 450 jobs per day. Well, forget anybody else busting that claim. Rahul Gandhi's own colleague, former Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah, actually busted that claim. Mr. Siddaramaiah, while he was still Chief Minister, while speaking at a program organized in Bangalore on the issue of jobs, it was a new Karnataka conclave that had been held, said that Karnataka had created 15 lakh jobs during his 4-year tenure. Now his 4-year tenure actually coincided more or less with the 4-year tenure or the 3.5-year tenure of Mr. Modi. And as per Mr. Siddaramaiah, 15 lakh jobs had been created in that 4-year tenure, which is about 3,75,000 jobs per year, which is about roughly 1,042 jobs per day. Now here's the interesting aspect. Rahul Gandhi went around even in the Karnataka elections claiming that India was producing mere 450 jobs per day. Entire India was producing just 450 jobs per day. And on the other hand, in the same election, Mr. Siddaramaiah, his colleague, was claiming that Karnataka alone created 1,042 jobs per day in the same period. Which one of those two claims is actually true? Is Mr. Siddaramaiah true and therefore Mr. Rahul Gandhi was lying? Or was Mr. Rahul Gandhi true and therefore Mr. Siddaramaiah was lying? Or is it that 450 jobs were created across the country per day as per Rahul Gandhi, even while one state of the union, that is Karnataka, was creating over 1,000 jobs per day? Now that is something that the two of them have to decide, because clearly India was producing more than 450 jobs per day, and I'll give you the figures in our next fact check about how many jobs India actually produces per day. Now moving on to fact check number 3. Fact check number 3 relates to how many jobs are actually created in this country. Well, we just showed you in fact check number 2 that it's certainly not 450 jobs per day as claimed by Rahul Gandhi, because Karnataka itself, as per Mr. Siddaramaya's claims, created over 1,000 jobs per day for the last 4 years. So what is the real figure? Well, to tell you honestly, there are a few different figures as per different organizations about the number of jobs created per day or per month or per year. So let us take the most credible information and data that is available and arrive at a figure that actually relates to the number of jobs created in this country. As per the CSO, the Central Statistics Office, which has just released its data, 41 lakh jobs were created in a period of 6 months between September 2017 to April 2018. So approximately about 70 to 80 lakh jobs over the entire year could have been created as per this data. And while relying on this data, the EPFO contributions, the ESIC data, the Employee State Insurance Scheme, and the NPS, the National Pension Scheme data, was put together to arrive at this figure. To ensure that the EPFO data had some kind of integrity in it, what was done was that those accounts which had incomplete data were removed from the survey. Apart from that, only new contributors between the age groups of 18 to 25, which would reflect a new job, were actually taken to come to this conclusion about jobs that have been created. And apart from that, those data on those accounts where contributions were not being made continuously, or those accounts which had been opened up under amnesty schemes by firms to declare their EPFO data, all of these had been excluded out of the mix to ensure that the data actually showed and only reflected new jobs created in the economy for those last 6 months. Therefore, we can more or less say that about 40 lakh or 41 lakh jobs were actually created between September 2017 to April 2018 as per the EPFO, ESIC and the NPS data. What I just showed you was the data based on EPFO, ESIC and NPS. Now if to this we add the jobs that the government thinks it has created through the Mudra Yojana, the scheme where loans are being given to small entrepreneurs, and about 13 crore such loans as per the Mudra scheme data have been given. That would be another few lakh jobs, because every loan given could have potentially created at least one job if not more. Now the government is yet to finalize the amount of jobs that have been created by the disbursement of these loans, and that process has been initiated to actually tabulate. Professor Rajiv Kumar, who's the Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog, estimates it to be around 3.5 crores, but we'll wait for the government data on this to actually come out. But these jobs also need to be added to the mix. Now apart from the Mudra data and the data that we saw from the EPFO, ESIC and NPS, let us take the World Bank's report on jobs. The World Bank's South Asia Economic Focus Report, dated 2018, which is titled Jobless Growth, actually says that the long-term employment elasticity of the Indian economy is 0.19%. What this basically means is that for every 1% growth in the GDP of our economy, about 0.19% growth in jobs takes place. And therefore the estimate works out to about 7 to 7.5 lakh jobs for every 1% growth in the GDP. Now assuming that the Indian economy, which last quarter grew at 8.2%, grew at a healthy rate of 7 to 7.5%, that would say that 52 lakh 50,000 jobs were created in that particular year, where the economy saw growth of 7 to 7.5% in the GDP. And now if you break that out to the jobs created per month and per day, if you even take the most conservative estimate for per day, the jobs created per day would amount to 13,888 jobs per day. Now that is nowhere close to what Rahul Gandhi claimed, that only 450 jobs were being produced in India. A reasonable figure actually would be about 13,500 to 14,000 jobs being created in the economy per day as per World Bank and other data. So even the most conservative estimates show that the Modi government is perhaps managing to create about 13,800 jobs per day in the economy at the present moment. And even Mr. Manmohan Singh's government, the Congress party's government, in which Rahul Gandhi had a substantial say, even though it performed dismally on the jobs front, it managed to create 1.5 crore jobs in 7 years as per the NSSO data. And that also means that about 5,000 plus jobs were created per day. So Rahul Gandhi's 450 jobs per day figure not only was a total underestimation of the Modi government era, but also a complete underestimation of the jobs created during the Manmohan Singh era. And that leads us to ask, why would Mr. Rahul Gandhi underplay his own country's job creation capacity, which is way more than 450 jobs per day, and on the other hand, China, which creates only about 36,000 jobs per day, is estimated at 50,000 jobs per day by Rahul Gandhi. One really wonders why Rahul Gandhi was undermining India's performance and overplaying China's performance. Anyways, it was fun for me to present this fact-filled webisode of Shehzad Scans. Keep tuning in to mynation.com and to Shehzad Scans so that we can continue to sift facts from fiction and help you bust the haywire narrative of fake news. Signing off, Jai Hind.